Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome back. Excuse me, to the Positive Living Center. It's located right out of Oakhurst, California, as its headquarters. And we're presented today by Zoom Productions, as always. So we get to see all of your faces from around the United States and sometimes internationally. It's really great to have this kind of service so we can all be together. This is the third Sunday of July, and that means it's our Healing Circle service. And we will get to that very soon in our service to enjoy together for that. I welcome to everyone, especially the newcomers. You have found us, congratulations. And we're so glad to have you with us today. I'm not gonna have let me get the themes here. Conscious thought controls the subconscious. Subconscious beliefs control our life, and we manifest what we believe. Absolutely, absolutely. This is the year of manifestation. I'm hoping that we are accepting that in our lives, so that as we move forward, we're constantly having new things to do, new challenges, new everything. It's wonderful. How about we get settled down for a little meditation to start the service? Put our feet down on this beautiful earth. Take some deep breaths in and out. Let everything go that's on your mind to do today or the week, and just enjoy presently being here together.
Just as Joe said, let's enjoy presently being here together in the light of love. This is a chant from Deva Prabha. In the light of love, we are whole. In the light of love, we are home. In the light of love, we heal and sing. Thy will be done in the light of love. Om Shri Dhanvantri Namaha. Om Shri Dhanvantri. In the light of love, we are whole. In the light of love, we are home. In the light of love, we heal and sing. Thy will be done in the light of love.
this year being the manifestation by us and for us, let us display an act of demonstrating who and what we are. Let us reach our highest potential, for with spirit we cannot fail. So it is. Welcome back. It's time for our spiritual thoughts, and that is brought to us today by Reverend Missy. Good morning, Rev.
Good morning. Good morning. So I was looking at the thoughts, at the themes for today. Conscious thought controls the subconscious. Subconscious beliefs control our life. We manifest what we believe. And as I was thinking about those, I got a throwaway thought come to mind. Well, a throwaway thought that came to me a long time ago. I was in Dayton in around 1989, and I was out driving, and someone cut me off. And the thought, the SOBs are out today. And I thought, oh my God, I've become my mother. My mom used to say that all the time when we'd go out driving and people would go crazy or, they'd cut us off. The SOBs are out today. And it's a throwaway thought. And how many of us have those throwaway thoughts, right? That just come out of nowhere. And they're kind of like, we're programmed with these thoughts. How do you get, and in a way, that's how we pass down through our lineage. We pass on to our kids, our cousins, or our uncles and our aunts, to all our relatives, to our friends, all the thoughts that we get imbued with. The SOBs are out today. So immediately I thought to myself, I can't say that because, the more you say or think something, that's what you're going to manifest. I didn't want to manifest more of that, so I thought to myself, I have to bless them. So I started blessing, and I started blessing as a practice. I'd started blessing years ago, but I had to be more conscious of it. And I thought to myself, when people cut me off, I'll bless them, make sure that they get home. And not hurt anybody, not hurt themselves. And blessing really means to wish from the most sincerest part of your heart, the highest and best for someone. And as you build up those thought forms of blessing and wishing from the most sincerest part of your heart, it really aligns you with the power of the law of attraction, because you're going to attract more of those blessings. What you damns you back, but once you blesses you back also. You would, like Emerson says, you attract to you what you are. Who you are speaks so loudly. And why not be the blessing itself? So that was around 1989, 1990 timeframe. Now I'm in Albuquerque around 1995, and I'm stressed out, and I'm driving, and I'm going along the road, and someone's cutting me off again, right? And this lady is so I go over here, she comes in front of me. I go over here, she comes in front of me. And I go over here, she comes in front of me. And so I know there's a part of me that knows that, I'm angry, and I'm kind of cussing to myself. And and I know I have a choice. And I have a choice to let this anger out, or I could hold it in. And it's interesting because, when I was thinking of this the other day, it's the disciplined mind, right? Like LG was talking about last week. But so I knew I had a choice, and choice is always an act of power. But I thought to myself, why am I always holding my anger in? Why can't I feel, for once, anger? Why can't I allow myself to explode in anger? Why do I always have to be the good girl and be calm, cool, and collected? I got very angry and I flipped her off. Good old farm girl her, flipped her off. And she got out of the car and came towards me, and I go, oh, brother, you know, but then she got back in the car. What's interesting about it is, you know, everything seemed to be okay. And I thought to myself, okay, that was not called for, Melissa, you know, and I started blessing. Later on, and I don't know if this was the same person, but later on, my husband at the time said that there was a lady, and this lady had a little girl in the back seat. Told me later on that there was a lady that was drunk, had a little girl in the back seat, that was in a car wreck that day, and the little girl died. Now, I don't know if this is the same one, but it could have been. And I remember that. I remember that all these years. Cause and effect. Was it my anger? It could have been. And but again, you know, it was a real lesson in because you see, anger is a negative prayer. Year 2000. I'm now divorced, and I had been dating someone, and of course I thought I was terribly in love with him. And he decided to release me to my highest and best good. And I was heartbroken. I thought I was a victim. And I had a moment where I was just so angry, so heartbroken. And I thought, and I'd always said I was heart-tied. See, I imagined that there was this energy tie between my heart and his. And I was so emotionally distraught. And I took this energy and anger, I just found myself shooting it across that heart line towards his heart. And then in the moment I did, I said, oh my God. I said, oh God, don't let this happen. Because in the moment of knowing and an awareness, I realized that I could cause him a heart attack. The power of the mind is that powerful. But I also know that time is just a construct, that the past, present, future is happening all at once. And I called on God, I called on my angels, I called on my guides, I called on the masters, called on everybody. And it was like time stopped. Aware, awaken, able. See, when you direct thoughts of anger towards a person, it's malpractice. Aware, awaken, able in the moment. And emotion is energy in motion. And responsibility and accountability are aspects of mastery. We're accountable for the thoughts we think and responsible to clean up our own messes. What makes prayer so powerful is the feeling aspect of prayer. And wishing someone ill is negative prayer. Those of us that have read Greg Braden in The Lost Mode of Prayer will remember that. They talk about the feeling aspect of prayer and how important it is. And I don't usually quote people, but it's interesting how this quote found me. It's from the Seminar Lectures by Ernest Holmes. And he says, words without thoughts cannot to heaven go. Techniques create a mold only, which must be filled with the consciousness of the feeling and which makes everything come alive and is called the spirit of the letter of the law. There must be feeling and the mold. So the thoughts make the mold and the feeling fills it. So here's where we have choice, and choice is an act of power. Choosing to do or choosing not to do, they're both still choices. Only in not choosing, you're building up a negative wall of energy that will eventually burst in your face instead of flowing along the path of divine right order and divine right action. Another quote that found me from the Beverly Hills lectures was, the destructive use of any principle destroys the one who uses it. And then goes on to say, This is the reciprocal action. This is the law of life. If today our thoughts cancel out the mistakes of yesterday by uprooting them and no longer indulging in them, they are not there. Jesus did not teach an easy salvation. He taught a sure one. And we can clean up our messes by the use of thought with feeling. Wednesday, just this other day, just this last Wednesday, a couple of days ago, I'm in physical therapy for adhesive capsulitis, and I was hurt physically. This is the second time this lady has done it. I was sick for days because of the pain and trauma. My 2-year-old was in full force. I called Sandy, and I was telling Sandy, I said, I want my mommy, you know, so like I wanted to crawl into her lap and say, please, please, please hug me. I'm traumatized. I'm hiding under the bed, you know? And she says, have you forgiven her? And I go, I don't think so yet. You know, I was getting there. And so day by day, you know, I worked a little bit more, and it doesn't come easy. Transformation is not easy. Transformation is a hard job, but it's something that's necessary because we don't want to look at the eyes of other people through the messes we make. So we can choose forgiveness or not. Choice. It's an act of power. I wanted to use forgiveness, and I kept working at it. Today I can say, yeah, I forgive her. It was a great lesson. It was a great lesson in choice, in an act of power. I went and what I did is I canceled the rest of my physical therapy appointments. I have all the exercises, and I'm loving my arm, and we're in partnership. So we're going to heal together. And so we're so far, I'm you know, we're doing a great job. It's an ongoing journey. It's an ongoing journey. And one of my students, we're working on he wants to take the Sermon on the Mount. He's taking Sermon on the Mount. And what came to me was the Beatitudes. Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. What's righteousness? Righteousness means right thought. And so when we have right thoughts, we'll be filled with the Spirit. We'll be filled with more right thoughts because that's what our focus is on. You know, it's simple, but it's not easy. Like LJ said last week, it takes discipline. Focus, courage, and commitment. Change your habits of thought and start observing what those throwaway thoughts are. And we can start just by the simple act of blessing. I bless you in your peace, in your love, in your wholeness. It's claiming the highest and best for the other right here, right now. We can also say, God is. Let there be divine light, or let there be light. Divine order is there right now. These are the operational instructions that you start to give your subconscious. And you start building up thought forms of divine consciousness, which then attracts to you relationships, events, and people operating on those same wavelengths. Thus, you not only bless the world, but the world blesses you. And by the law of resonance, you become the consciousness of divine blessing itself.
Thank you, Reverend Missy. Great reminders, isn't it? Just great reminders. If I make a mistake, and I know when I make a mistake, I like to look at myself in the mirror and say, could I have done that better? And every time it says yes. And we learn our lessons as we grow and as we move. And that's great reminders of where we are and what we are trying to be as these positive living spirits. Beautiful. Well, it's time for music. And I'd like to present Patty Humble. Hi, Patty.
Hi. Okay, I'm unmuted now. And we here at the Positive Living Center love these positive songs. And Missy, my God, that was a wonderful spiritual thought. Thank you very much. I really relate to the I'm turning into my mother thing. So anyways, this is an oldie but a goodie. Gather round me, everybody. Gather round me while I preach some. Feel a sermon coming on here. The topic will be sin, and that's what I'm again. If you wanna hear my story, then settle back and just sit tight while I start reviewing the attitude of doing right. You got to accentuate the positive and eliminate the negative and latch on to the affirmative. Don't mess with Mr. In Between. You got to spread joy up to the maximum and bring gloom down to a minimum, and have faith or pandemonium will liable to walk upon the scene. It's liable to walk upon the scene. To illustrate my last remark, Jonah and the whale, Noah in the ark. What did they do when everything seemed so dark? It was dark, dark, dark. They said, we gotta accentuate the positive and eliminate the negative and latch on to the affirmative. Don't mess with Mr. In Between. No, no, don't mess with Mr. In Between. You've got to accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative, and keep, don't mess with Mr. In Between. No, no, don't mess with Mr. In Between. No, no, don't mess with Mr. In Between. No, no, don't mess with Mr. In Between.
Thank you, Patty. Very nice. Yes, I think I recall that song as well. That's beautiful. Beautiful. It's time for our main speaker this morning, and it is my honor to introduce to you Rev Judy DeRosa. Good morning, Judy.
Good morning.
Hi.
My goodness, what a morning, huh? It's a lot of beauty. My topic is we manifest what we believe. And this is going to be coming from storytelling. The art form of oral storytelling is meant to give us a version of a story. Like Missy's version. She had her version of her experience with manifestation and her beliefs. That version of the story is handed down in a verbal manner to those who are willing to listen, imagine, open their minds, their heart, and their soul. And then they too can tell their version of that same story. This form of preserving myths and stories has served the Native American people for generations. One must ask the question, is this just a myth that has held its essence, or is it truth? So get comfortable, close your eyes a little bit, because here's our story of belief and manifesting personal power. Knowing who you are and living an authentic, purposeful life. This is the story of the butterfly woman. Our adventure is by invitation only. So join me as we travel off the beaten path deep in the four corners of the Southwest, where forgotten roads and myths still live in the hidden indigenous communities. As we turn onto a red, sandy, rocky road, unmarked by any street signs or numbers, we see a pile of large rocks stacked up along the dry Arroyo Canyon. This cairn is our landmark, and we know we're all on the right trail. Our caravan leaves a red tail of rich iron particles billowing behind us. This is the road we're meant to travel on today, together. We're here in the middle of nowhere, on a vast, dusty mesa. It's dry and it calls our hearts. We came prepared. We have water, we have food, we have directions, plus respect for this land and its culture. This is a sacred ceremony. It is a celebration with dancing, singing, and the sharing of traditional foods prepared by aunties and uncles, grandmothers and grandfathers. It is a reunion of families and friends with lots of catching up to do. This is a generational custom that reaches back in time and into our psyche. The visitors, that's us, come with all manner of expectations. We have come to see something that not everyone will be able to see in their lifetime. There's no advertising for this event, no admission fee with tickets to turn in. For some people, the synchrodestiny of the universe brings them here with perfect synchronicity. We are welcomed with nods and a smile or two as we set up our chairs respectfully to witness these sacred festivities. This is a place where the people do not try to be what they are not. The deer dancers represent the profound struggle between light and darkness, and how to restore and maintain balance within nature. The dancers will be dressed in their handmade regalia, representing the deer people who came to help the humans stay alive on the planet. These dancers express respect for all beings living here on Mother Earth. Then later in the afternoon is the Corn Maiden. The Corn Maiden dance, of course, is all about pollination. And this is the grandmother of the sun and light. We are reminded to give thanks for the new corn, soft rain, heat of the sunshine, an abundant harvest with enough to eat for everyone. This Thanksgiving is a sacred action of knowing we are related to all that we see. We will be dusted with corn pollen, and it is given for protection, understanding, and forgiveness. The Corn Maiden represents new growth. As the corn grows, the silk tassels on the tops of the maize tells us that the corn is almost ready to pick. And this will nourish the people for a whole season. With the Corn Maiden's dance, we celebrate new beginnings. La Mariposa is the last ceremony of the day. In your mind's eye, you may imagine the dancer has a delicate young woman light on her feet as she dances around the arena in her colorful regalia, swooping her fan and her shawl as she holds her arms up like butterfly wings. Now, the imagination is the greatest force upon the earth. Our imagination is controlled brilliance, constant focused decision-making, and perpetual shifting and changes of ideas. Now, it may sound contrary, yet our imagination is a flow of discovery. As we discover the fragile idea of a butterfly in our head may bring an expectation of honoring the tenacious yet delicate beauty that visits flowers. The sun slides into the west, the heat waves shimmer along the horizon. We wait with expectations, and our imagination shifts with ideas as more and more people arrive just for her dance. The temperature drops by a degree or two, and then a slight breeze cools us. The announcer has called the dancer to the arena, and we wait. Time passes and anticipation builds. The drummers and the singers wail their ancient chants, calling to the heart of the dancer. Now we hear a soft, slower drumming, which catches our attention. This is the sacred butterfly rhythm, as old as the land of enchantment, as ancient as the flowers. The arena is hushed as all eyes are now on the entrance of the circle. She arrives from the direction of the east. Some of the visitors may have preconceived ideas of this delicate, soft beauty, hoping to see her wings and her soft, swooping movements. But oh no, she is one of the wildest of the wild. This presiding spirit holding a sense of divinity. This butterfly dance is done by one woman. Our dancer is Maria Lajuane, and she is big. She is really big, like Venus of Willendorf, like the mother of days, like Diego Rivera's heroic-sized woman who built Mexico City with a single curl of her wrist. And the Maria is old, very, very old, like a woman come back from the dust, old, like an old river, or old like old pine at the timberline. One of her shoulders is bare, revealing her time-worn skin. She is very heavy, and she knows this. She understands her body. In her solo dance, she hops on one foot and then the other, She waves her feather fan to and fro. She is the butterfly. She has arrived with her strength. She is that which most think of as not strong. She is age. She is the butterfly. She is the feminine, much too delicate to have any strength or power. But, oh no, they are very mistaken. Butterfly woman's hair reaches to the ground. It is thick and stone gray. It holds twigs and leaves as she moves along in her dance. She wears butterfly wings, you know, the kind that you see on little children. Her hips are large and round and fleshy. Her buttocks is wide enough to ride 2 children with room to spare for a third. She hops, 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 not like a rabbit, but in her footsteps that leave vibrations rippling along the ground, she raises puffs of dust as she moves along in her butterfly journey. She is truly connected to Mother Earth. Here I am, here I am, here I am, here I am. To awaken you and you and you and you. She always sways her feather up and down, spreading the earth and the pollen to the people, pollinating the spirit with her butterfly dance. Her shell bracelets rattle like snake. Her bell garters tinkle like rain. Her shadow with her big belly and little legs dance from one side of the arena to the other. Her feet move the earth. The tribes are riveted and involved. They watch her every step with loving hearts. The native people know we manifest what we believe. But some of the visitors look at each other and murmur, "What's this? This is the butterfly maiden?" They're unable to understand because they no longer seem to remember their own relationship with the world. Judgment clouds their eyes. They have come to this ceremony to be reminded that the world is filled with beauty and that the imagination is one of their most powerful tools. This visual reminder that the spirit world is a place where wolves are women, bears are husbands, and old women of lavish size and dimensions are butterflies. Butterfly woman carries the thunder world in one breast, the underworld in another. Her back is the curve of the earth with all its crops and food and animals. The back of her neck carries the sunrise and the sunset. Her left thigh holds all the lodge poles. Her right thigh holds all the she-wolves of the world. And her belly holds all the babies that will ever be born. There is no supposed to be in bodies. The question is not size, not shape, not years of age, or even having two of everything. Because as we know, some women do not any longer. But in the wild that is within her, she holds together all the relations of the world. The macro, the micro, the four-legged, the flyers, the crawlers, the swimmers, and the two-legged, us. Butterfly Maiden is the female fertilizing force, carrying the pollen from one place to another. She cross-fertilizes just as the soul cross-fertilizes the mundane. She is the center. She brings the opposites together by taking a little from here and moving it there. Transformation is no more complicated than that. This is what she teaches. This is how the butterfly woman does it. This is how the soul does it. Butterfly woman mends the erroneous idea that transformation is only for the tortured, the saintly, or only for the fabulously strong. It is for all of us. The sacred self need not carry mountains to transform. A little is enough. A little goes a long way. A little changes everything. The fertilizing force replaces the moving of mountains. Butterfly Maiden pollinates the souls of the earth. She says it's easy. It's so much easier than you think. She is shaking her feather fan. She is dancing and hopping and moving, and she is spilling spiritual pollen all over the people. Native Americans, little children, visitors like us, everyone. She is using her entire body as a blessing. Her old, frail, big, short-legged, short-necked, spotted body. This is a woman connected to her wild nature, the translator of the instinctual, the fertilizing force, the mender, the remembered ideas and stories of long ago. La Mariposa is the truth personified. The butterfly dancer must be old because she represents the soul that is old. She is wide of thigh and broad of rump because she carries much. Her long uncut hair certifies that she need no longer observe native taboos about touching others. She is allowed to touch everyone. Babies, men, women, the old, the ill, and the dead. The body is like an earth. It is a land unto itself. The body is vulnerable to overbuilding, being carved into, parceled off, cut up, overmined, and shorn of its power as any landscape. This wise woman will not be easily swayed by redevelopment schemes. For her, the question is how to feel. Because we are not meant to be relocated, detached from the good red earth. We are meant to dig our toes into the land like roots of an ancient tree, to cultivate a respect for everything we lay our eyes upon. Does this butterfly dancer have happiness, joy? Can she move, dance, jiggle, sway? As we watch her dance in her sacred dance, we must remember the great powers are testing us to see if we have yet learned to recognize the greatness of the soul in all its varying forms. The butterfly woman dances for all of us on this special day. Your ancestors outnumber your fears. Whatever your heritage may be, it is time to remember you are made from your ancestors' dreams, prayers, songs, dances, because you are both warrior and healer. Feel the ancestors' power. Call on them to help you build your own personal, sacred self-worth. Because this power is your birthright. Take that first step in your own unique dance here on Mother Earth. And now today's affirmation is, I am now free to be exactly who I came here to be, a loving, creative, unlimited, vast expression of light, experiencing diversity here on Mother Earth. In this moment of time, we can change anything we put our attention upon. And by the way, don't be surprised if you find a little dusting of red sand in your ears, on your feet. Now, this is a modified story from Women Who Run with the Wolves by Carissa Pincola Estes. And I hope you run with your own personal wolf today. So it is.
Thank you, Reverend Judy. You took me on a journey, and it was all I could do to come back into this room and to be focused again where I am. It was amazing.
It will stay with you. We would do sun dances, and the sound of the drums would stay with me, and the stories of our elders would stay with me for weeks.
I have no doubt. I have no doubt. It's wonderful. Thank you. And now it's time for our healing circle, part of our service. And I'm going to ask Reverend Sandy to guide us through this portion of the service. Sandy?
Thank you, honey. Now, as you remember, we start with prayers, and the prayers are done by ministers, practitioners, whoever wants to add their voice to the prayer, and you'll need to unmute to do that. And then after that, anyone you'd like to place to the healing circle, including yourself, your animals, your pets, whatever comes to mind, they can be placed in the healing circle for healing by this wonderful spiritual team. So we'll start off with Angie this morning, please.
Thank you. As we enter the circle of our healing circle, Let's embody the fact that we are that which we are. We are the life form of a divine energy of love, this force that's created all that there is. It's experiencing this physical through each one of us, as Angela and as Sandy and Bill. And we know that as we experience this idea of the drama of all physical being, we know that that energy and our nature and that nature is one and the same. We're whole, we're complete, and we call forth today during this healing service the fact that it radiates through every cell in our body. Every cell radiates this divine healing perfection, and we accept it. Every organ in our body functions in perfection. We know that our perfection, the perfection of the force itself, is there always, ready and willing and being part of who and what we are.
What a blessing. Thank you. Any other ministers or practitioners who would like to share?
There is only divine love flowing through this circle today. Divine consciousness rippling out and touching each one with the divine consciousness of wholeness, with the divine consciousness of grace and love and truth. And knowing this, I know that divine order prevails because it can be nothing else. Only wholeness, divine perfection in all its love and grace and truth. So be it, and so I let it be so. So it is.
Our spirit is one with you, Great Spirit. You who strengthen us day and night to share our very best with our brothers and sisters. Show your love for us. Help us to know, like the soaring eagle, the heights of knowledge. And from the four directions, fill us with the four virtues: fortitude, generosity, respect, wisdom, so that we may help all people walk in the path of understanding and peace.
Thank you. Any other ministers?
We are totally surrounded in the healing, loving light of spirit right now as oneness, as the magnificent demonstration that God is, we are. And we know that all healing of our friends, our family, ourselves are already done in the mind of God right now. And we know that is already done perfectly, easily, effortlessly, with a grace and ease. And so it is.
Thank you. Any other ministers, practitioners? Anyone at all, please share. I'd like to start by putting Angie's beloved cat, Flufferton, into the circle. He had surgery a couple of days ago. And his healing is there now.
Thank you.
I'd like to put my shoulder into the circle for increased freedom of movement. Thank you.
I'd like to put my friend Nick in the circle.
Putting my son Hans in the circle for total healing.
Both of those are done. Anyone else?
I'd like to put myself and my son in the circle for energy and protection on this journey.
It's done.
This is Barney. I would like to put my fear of failure in the circle. This week, as everyone knows, I've talked about it, I'm on a personal mission to mitigate climate change. I found a way of storing hydrogen, and 2 people who have been struggling to bring their technology to the world. And it's really big, and I feel important, and I'm just afraid that I'm not gonna be enough, do the right thing to help them bring it about on their mission and support them, which is my mission. So I just wanna ask for the healing of abandoning fear and just acting on what I know to be true and right and perfect in my actions.
And it is done.
It is done. I put Vivian into the circle in her upcoming move and in everything related to her move and her house and everything that's just related to that.
It is done.
And I'd like to put Marilyn Turpin in the center of the circle for all the work she's done to help her body renew itself and all the healing light that goes into her. For each breath she takes, she becomes stronger and stronger and stronger. So it is.
It's done.
Bless you, Missy, and thank you.
My sister Sarah has need to heal from something right now. Welcome her into the circle.
It's done.
I would like to put all those concerns that people can't name or feel that they can't articulate. I would like to put those into the circle now, that they may be known, re-seen, and made whole.
It is done. Does anyone else want to share? Then know that there is only God. And this knowing all healings are done. It is the truth of our being, the truth of our abilities, the truth of our divinity. We are whole. We are healed. I accept this for all of us, knowing that we go forth into the world, taking this healing presence and energy with us. That as we pass by people, the healing touch is there for them to touch. The healing presence is there for them to accept. We go out as lighthouses into the world, expanding and being the divine healing presence everywhere it is needed. We are truth in action. We are divine. And I give such glorious thanks for the truth that we are. And say with me, please, and so
it is.
And so it is.
So it is.
So it is.
Thank you, everyone.
Oh my goodness. It's time for our offertory. And would you please do the offertory prayer with me at this time? Divine love.
Divine love.
Through me.
Through me.
Blesses and increases all that I give and all that I receive. And I think everyone knows how to tithe toward the PLC via mail, or also going on to your email that Luana puts out each week and just tapping on a donate button if you care to give monetarily.
And it's in the chat box.
It's in the chat box. Thank you, Missy. Announcements. I have one quick announcement. Reverend Judy, I think that you took Luana all the way gone. Played out back here and she never came back. So
we saw the hand. There she is.
Oh, here she is. Oh, good morning.
Hi, I'm here. I'm with you.
Any announcements from anyone? No announcements. Okay. I have one announcement. Next week's speaker is, well, it's going to be me. And I can't wait to hear what I have to say. I don't know what that'll be.
Yeah, it'll be great.
I hope so. It's time to do the prayer of protection.
I have a question.
Excuse me?
Tim? Where's Tim?
Tim. I don't know where Tim is.
Who knows?
Anyone have an answer for that?
I think he posts on Facebook. He's been traveling, I think.
Is that right? Okay. All right. Let's do the prayer of protection, please.
Announcement.
What, Carla?
He used to have announcements often.
Yes, he did. The prayer of protection, please. The light of God surrounds me. The love of God enfolds me. The power of God protects me. The presence of God watches over me. The energy of God is me. Wherever I am, God is. And all is well. Reverend Sandy, you want to give us a closing prayer?
Oh, I thank you, everyone, today. It was very, very profound and very insightful. And as you can see, the whole day, it impacted all of us. So just know as we go forth, we take this presence and the knowing that we learned today with us. We share it with the world, embracing the world, reaching out and interacting, dancing a dance of truth and light and love. The world is such a wonderful place and so much enhanced by each and every one of us. And I give such glorious thanks for that which we are, and say with me, please. And so it is. Oh, thank you, everyone.
Thank you all. It's good to see you. Hope to see you again next Sunday. Have a great, great week.
Yes.
God bless.
Thank you, Judy. Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Vicky. Thank you, Patty.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.